Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Let's Design a Planet Coaster. This is episode 6 and we're back at Alta's Paradise where we're taking a look at some of the creations that we did in the previous episode, or episodes actually, including Mr. Burger Skull here, which, there were some mixed feelings in the comments in the previous video. Some of you, it seems like most of you really like it, and some of you, not so much. So by the end of this episode, I'll be doing some work around that, and hopefully most of you, or the majority of you, will like it even better, because I think it turned out really, really great. But for the time being, let's focus on the core issue for this episode, which I'm sure at this point you know what it is. Yes, I'm going to be decorating the station around the roller coaster, which, I've been getting also a ton of comments of you guys letting me know why the coaster wasn't working in the previous episode, which, by the way, you were absolutely right. The entrance for the coaster was on the opposite side of the platform, which I don't know exactly what happened. I could have sworn that during the live stream that I did a couple weeks back when I indeed created this coaster, I thought that the entrance was in the right spot, and I think people were getting in and out. So I'm not entirely sure if it was bugged during the alpha to release, what happened right after that live stream, but or if I actually just tested the coaster, it was working, but no people were actually in it. So I don't know. I might have to go check out the footage, I guess. But in the meantime, I'm starting here by adding some details around the queues and kind of integrating this whole building with the approach where all these people are staying in line, getting in. I wasn't really happy with this initial design, so I started making changes. You'll see in a minute. But sort of the idea here was to follow the same architecture style from the Cosmic Cow building that we did in the previous episode. Having that kind of grid of white block elements and have, vines and flowers kind of intertwined and create this Spanish villa effect kind of thing. Which, by the way, at the end of the episode turned out really, really nice. I'm not going to give you any spoilers. I guess you could just kind of have to trust my word, and you can let me know in the comments whether I was right or not. But I think I ended up getting to a good spot there. And since I'm going to redo a little bit of this part, there you see me undoing a bunch of these things. I want to talk about a few things that I have on a list here in a notepad. That things that I wanted to clarify and mention, and things that you might have not known about this series and the channel in general. In the previous episode, I mentioned the live stream, and I linked to it in the description. However, the link to that was wrong. It was actually linking to the previous episode, which didn't make any sense. The thing is, I couldn't check the comments soon enough right after the video came out. So many of you were telling me, bro, the links are like this link points to something different other than what you said, and I didn't even see that until almost a week later. So I apologize for that. The link is now fixed on both videos. When I say both videos, I mean this one too, because I'm including it here just in case you want to go see that. Another thing that was wrong was the link to the full playlist of this series. So I highly encourage you to go check that out, especially if you're new to the channel. If you just open this video for the first time, so first of all, welcome. I'm glad you're here. But in case you want to go see the rest of the 6 episodes that we have, there's a link right in the description, like I said, where you can go see the entire history, including the live streams. So yeah, make sure to check that out. And also, I wanted to talk about schedule, because I've been getting this, I get these questions every once in a while. It's not that often as, what is the music that I use, which, by the way, the music that I use is the Planet Coaster theme, except for this background music, which is from my library that even if I link to it, you'll still have to get an account. So sorry, I can't really link to it. But yeah, the intro music and the outro music are actually the theme song, theme song for the game. Now, finally, another thing that I wanted to talk about, is schedule. So many of you asked me about schedule. So just so you know, this series so far, I mean, this is early June 2016. It's coming out every Saturday morning for me, basically 6 a.m. at Pacific time. I'm guessing it's also morning in the East Coast, but around 9 a.m. In any case, 6 a.m. Pacific time is where these videos are usually scheduled. If for whatever reason I have to change the schedule or cancel a video or I'm not able to post anything, I usually, inform that over my social networks and for the most part Twitter and Facebook. So if you want to, know exactly when that, if something changes in the schedule, make sure to check my Twitter as well as my Facebook. And even when I do live streams, I announce them for the most part there, because sometimes I don't have time to post a video ahead of time saying, hey, I'll be doing a live stream. Sometimes I just have time and I'll just start streaming, and the way everyone sort of, learns about it is through Twitter and Facebook. So make sure to follow me on that if you want to stay informed about every single aspect of this channel. So yeah, let's talk about this build in particular, which, by the way, this whole time lapse is, I think it's like 10 to 15 minutes long, and it's probably about 2 or 3 hours of work. In fact, it's closer to 4, I'd say, probably between 3 and 4 hours, which, by the way, is a ton of time for me. That I feel like lately I've been struggling more and more to get videos up in time, because I'm literally recording this the night before this video comes out, by the way, which is kind of insane. But and I'm really, really tired, but I wanted to get this video out. So I don't know if you can feel it in my voice. It's almost 11 p.m. right now on a Friday night. But yeah, it's hard because I wanna get this constructions to a good place, and I feel like I need like 10 more hours if I want to get all the details right, because there's so many things that you can do here, so much potential and so many different combinations. Let me give you an example. Something that usually happens is, and I'm sure this happens to many of you too, is that I will start building something, and as I start putting down all these elements and combining them with each other, then I start thinking about other things that I could, better improvements or constructions that I could be doing. So I end up changing my mind on the fly, which means that in many cases I would just have to start over again. The thing is, I might have invested already 40 minutes into something that inspired me to do something else. And when you start adding all those things up, maybe 4 hours have gone by and you've done maybe one building that is not even fully finished. So that is something that that has been happening quite a bit. But I still wanna keep doing this series. I think it's a ton of fun. My only concern, and you can let me know in the comments if you're enjoying it or not, is that I don't have that much progress to show episode after episode. I do my best to try to at least finish things, but you know me, I'm all over the place. When I have an idea, I just have to go do it. Doesn't matter if I have to abandon a project halfway in the middle. Eventually I come back and finish things, but that's I feel like lately that's been a pattern also on my City Skyline series. And I've been, debating in my mind whether or not that's a good idea to leave something unfinished, go do something else really quickly because I'm excited about it, and then eventually come back and fix other things. But I don't know. So far it seems like it's working, but you can let me know in the comments what you think and what, maybe you have a better method of dealing with this kinds of things. I'll be happy to hear your thoughts on the matter. So over here, I wanted to try something a little bit different. I extended this gallery and I combined it. Well, by the way, you're going to see me using all those wooden pillars, which are one of my favorite elements in this game. So I'll just use them everywhere. I know it's a little bit tiring, but man, I love those pillars. They look amazing, and anything that you use with them looks amazing. And over here, you would notice that, well, I got rid of the Hats Fantastic store, which I think looked better because I included, well, you'll see later in this episode, I moved the hat store to inside of this building, but on the other end. And in this case, I wanted to integrate different materials. So that's why I converted the roof to that blue kind of metalish design, which I don't know if you remember from, I think, episode 2, the Cosmic Cow that we built on episode 2 had this type of roof. So I was almost trying to replicate the same design so that all these buildings start, kind of following the same thing and start becoming part of this design language, if you will. And over here, I'm just creating different types of balconies so that it's not like everything is like perfectly symmetrical. I wanted to keep this tower and have it look like the one in the back from those aqueduct towers at the very top. I don't know if you can see that right in the background. Hopefully I'll turn the camera. There you go. You can see it in the background. So I'm trying to replicate that design, but I ended up adding a few details that made it a little bit more unique in its design, which, by the way, I think they turned out great. However, at the end of this particular section that I was building here, I realized that it was a little bit too tall. So you'll see me in a few minutes or a few seconds bring the whole thing down a little bit, and that made things much, much better. Now, what I was, let's see, what else was I doing? Yes, so I was just going to talk about the burger skull, but I can't remember if it was part of this time lapse or no. We'll see in a minute. By the way, I'm doing this live. I haven't watched the whole thing, which is kind of scary because, every time I make a mistake, I feel like I want to start re-recording this whole segment. But honestly, at this point in time, I don't have more time to do this. I really need to get this one right. So yeah, as you can see, there we go. This is what I was talking about. So I got rid of that skull and I put down the burger chief, which was one of the suggestions. And actually, there's a burger at the top of the skull, so, it makes sense to have a burger. As you can see here, I placed the skull on top of the burger chief and used the castle walls, it's not the sandstone, it's the brick wall, and basically created a bit of a cave around, like fill it with rocks all in every direction so that the skull and the rocks, feel like it's part of that whole construction. And of course, I placed the cheese, the bun, and the meat and the veggies on top of the skull. And I think it looks amazing. I know it's ridiculous, but it's a theme park, so stuff like this usually takes place. Now over here, I was trying to add a bit of a fence around this whole area just to like separate things a little bit. I started with a design that was a little bit more complex, but I ended up choosing this one, and I think it turned out pretty good. Keeping things simple usually works better. So, all right, time to slow things down and show you in detail how this whole build looks like from, the different angles. Let's see. Let's take a look. Let's start over here because I did some changes that were not necessarily, part of the time lapse. So down here we have a hat's fantastic. This whole area is still lacking a ton of details, so don't mind that. I also need to move this pole up here. Unfortunately, once you're in this position, it's so hard to actually edit things because if I try to click on this thing, it would try to select the roof, and it's kind of a mess. It's usually a better idea to do the inside details before you put the roof in. So that's kind of a recommendation, a tip. But, honestly, this whole gallery looks amazing. We just need to add more details in here. We have a couple of glitchy walls, but don't mind that. Don't mind that. That is really not a problem. Now, if we move over here, we have the bathrooms. Also, we need to work on these roofs to make them a little bit better. The reason why they look the way they do is, let me exit this camera mode if I can. So annoying. Switching cameras in this game, but yeah, the tracks for the roller coaster were kind of in here, so I couldn't raise the roof. So what I'm going to end up doing just to mend this thing is add some foliage of sorts, or add maybe a few of these things. We'll take a look at that later this episode. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll have a ton of time to finish this. I will add some details here and there before we end the recording, but we might have to finish this one in the next episode, unfortunately. I don't know if you noticed that, but I might have mentioned this during the time lapse. By the way, all the narration for the time lapse hasn't happened yet. Isn't that weird? This is something that you're watching after, but I haven't even recorded what I was going to say before. Shocking. In any case, I do that all the time, by the way. This should come as no surprise to you. One thing that I want to do here, actually, let's do it right now, because I think that will be a cool thing. I'm gonna add this half wall. I'm gonna turn auto stacking on, and I'm gonna move this here, move this one here, and get this thing here. Fantastic. And I'm gonna also add the same thing right next to it. And actually, before doing that, I should probably extend this with the molding. That way it doesn't look super weird. Let's bring this here, and let's bring that there. Fantastic. So go back to the walls, grab the curved wall, put it there. The reason why I'm doing this like kind of wall sandwich is to sort of contain the ticket booth, which doesn't look great. It's kind of like way too futuristic for the aesthetic that I'm going with. So now that I have this wall, what I can is maybe add some wall signs. So let's look for the roller coaster one. I found this sign that actually works quite well. I mean, height-wise, I think it works. It's pretty generic, but it looks great, and it kind of fits the design that I'm going with here. So you know what? I'm gonna keep it for now. And over on this corner, I was just playing with various signs. Clearly, there isn't one for coaster, and if it is, you can let me know in the comments how hard I fail at this game. You can let me know down there, because I'm sure there has to be a coaster sign. But for now, we have a generic Planet Coaster logo here, which looks quite all right. It's kind of, you know what? I think we can do a better job and move this a little bit forward. I want to use this. The word that I was looking for, by the way, in the previous episode, thank you for noticing, was gizmo. That little XYZ axis that allows you to move in space. One thing that I need to do here is go edit this building again and add these pillars over here. You know how much I love these. So I'm going to use them all over the place. They look great. It's one of my favorite props or assets in this game. And you know what? It's time to add some vegetation around here. Actually, before we do that, it's probably not a bad idea to throw in some lights inside. So I think I'm going to go with let's take a look. I think it's under scenery. We're going to go with the chain lanterns, because well, they just look amazing. That's pretty much why. So let me see if I can just go in here and position myself. But that should be enough. Yeah, that actually looks quite all right. I'm happy. Cool. So let's go into the nature menu, and now we're going to start adding some green to this building. So we're going to start by laying down some of these vines. Actually, these are not vines. These are scaevola. Scaevola? Yeah, that's what we're going to be adding. You know what? That actually looks quite all right. Take a look at this from the inside. It's gorgeous. I mean, yeah, sure. We're going to need to add a ton of detail back there on that inside of that gallery. But overall, it is looking fantastic. You know what? Let's add some flowers over here too. In fact, let's just fill this whole thing with flowers, because that looks great. That really, really does look nice. And maybe move this over here and then surround it with the tiny little bushes. I love these two, by the way. I'm sure you can tell by now. They look great. Okay, cool. Still, a lot of props will need to be added in this area. It's probably even some trees too. In fact, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have like a hedge, similarly to what we did in the maze. But let's turn around and add a few more of these vines on this roofs. There we go. Perfect. Wow, man, that's looking awesome. This is actually really simple to do, and the result is actually quite fantastic. You know. All right, so you know what? I think if we go align to surface, we might be able to have our vine sort of climb up the wall just a little bit, so that it looks like Oh man, we could do green walls with this. Holy crap, that's a good idea. Let's give it a shot over here maybe, because we do have plenty of room. What if we go crazy like this? How this look? But that is actually not too bad. Dude, this looks awesome. Oh man, I really like how this is turning. I mean, honestly, we should like kind of have it go this corner too, because now everything feels kind of not out of place, but I think we can improve it. I wish this were like a tad smaller. That way we can really squeeze them in. I should probably add a few more of these. Actually, this actually bothers me a little bit. Let's see if we can just move it sideways. There we go. And this one is like actually rotated. That's why it's like that. But it actually doesn't bother me all that much. Oh man, this is looking so awesome. I like it. I like it a ton. And I mean, honestly, this is also a prime candidate for crazy vines. Let's go ahead and do it, because this is officially the theme of this building. I have to say, I was a bit hesitant at first, but I think I really like where this design is going. I think there's going to be a lot of these vines that will have to be added to this whole building, but I think we're on the right path. I mean, on the inside, we might have to carry them over. Otherwise, we'll have this situation here, which we can also solve by putting double walls or something like that. But I think having that kind of like jungly atmosphere would go a long ways here. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of time to continue this build. I'm sure going to be working on this on the next episode and just get this build completely finished. That way we can move on to other structures around this park. But unfortunately, that's all the time that I have for now. So if you enjoyed this episode, I highly encourage you to go click the like button. It's underneath this video player. And also, please consider subscribing if you haven't already, as you will be notified the next time one of my videos comes out. But that's all I have to say for now. I want to thank you all for watching and really hope to see you in the next one.